Welcome to the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast, where music and faith collide. If you like hardcore Jesus rock and roll, or just curious to what it's all about, you've come to the right place. Come and join us as we rock the hell out of you, as we rock for the King.
We see it loud, we see it proud, so you can hear. This is the way we rock.
All right, how are you doing? This is Arin Rockman H, back at you with the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast, and back with another bonus episode. We're halfway through October, and I just realized we're getting busy. We're having guests on, we're doing all kinds of things, and haven't had time to talk about the October birthdays and anniversaries. And I've also kind of decided that I think I'll do that stuff more as a bonus episode. Might tell me who's listening, who's not listening to that kind of stuff. So we'll get right into it. October 3rd, we have Eddie DeGarmo, who was born in 1954, celebrated a birthday. We know him from DeGarmo on Key. He was the keyboardist. October 7th, we have legendary Michael W. Smith, born 1957. Singer-songwriter. I think everybody has heard of him, knows him, at least if you're around in the 80s and 90s. He's more of a CCM contemporary artist. We have talked about him a couple of times on the show, especially last year when we did a Halloween episode. I think he had a song, which is Invitation, we mentioned. We don't talk about him too often on here, but big name artist when he was around, and definitely worth mentioning, I think. All right, October 8th, we got a little heavy with the birthdays now. We've got Jim Chafin, who was the original drummer for The Crucified, also played with The Blamed and Deliverance. Great bands. We like talking about Deliverance all the time. We just did an episode on Christian thrash bands with Doug Van Pelt from Heaven's Metal. So if you haven't heard that, check that out. Jim Chafin was born 1966. October 11th, we've got an album anniversary. We like doing these. Fortunately, the only albums I really have figured out exact dates when they came out were Stryper and Michael Sweet ones, so those are the ones we usually talk about. Anyways, October 11th was the release for 10 from Michael Sweet, one of his solo records. This one, like the other ones coming out in the later years of his solo project, are fairly straight ahead, hard rock, into the heavy metal. He has a lot of guests on there, has his own band, and it's really good. Actually, I enjoyed this one. This one came out in 2019. Had an interesting cover. The title track on the 10 was talking about the 10 Commandments. And moving on to October 12th, we have Michael Rowe from the 77s. He's the main frontman for the band, singer, songwriter, plays guitars with them. Born 1954. The 77s are a bit of a alternative band. We may do a episode down the road. We'll see how that goes. All right, October 14th. Carl Johan Grimmark, who is the guitarist for Narnia, born 1977. This guy is a great guitarist. I really like Narnia. I have to introduce Narnia to Chris. I think I've introduced him a little bit to some of the Narnia songs. They're from Sweden. Don't get a chance to see them, but I love their music. Great band. If you haven't heard them, check them out. October 16th, we've got another album release anniversary with Fallen from Stryper. Came out in 2015. This is a great album. A lot of great songs on there. And I like the title track, Fallen. I know they like playing a song there about Jesus being crucified. That's a staple of Spurs. It seems to be, and one of those favorites to play live. All right, October 19th, we have Billy Smiley. He is a founder of Whiteheart. He does guitars and vocals with them, does most of the writing with them. Billy Smiley, born in 1957. Whiteheart's not that bad of a band, actually pretty good. More on the lighter rock end of things, but they can still rock it out pretty hard. October 21st, we have Jimmy P. Brown, who was the main guitarist for Deliverance, born 1969. Jimmy P. Brown has also done his own kind of side project called Jupiter 6. That's with the Roman numeral 6. And that project is more of a Pink Floyd type sounding project. And I believe Deliverance is coming out with a new album soon. I know him and George Ochoa are working on a new record, and Georgia said this is not going to be Weapons of Warfare Part 2. They're trying to keep the Deliverance sound modern and relevant. Well, that's not his exact quote, but kind of paraphrasing what he has said there. So looking for new updated music from Deliverance. And we got a couple album anniversaries coming out again. Oh, yeah. A few of them coming out really quickly here. October 21st was also the release date for Stryper's Final Battle in 2022. That was a good one. There's some good stuff on there. I like the lead off track, what we call Transgressor. I'll tell you, Stryper's been putting out so much stuff, it's hard to remember what was on which album anymore. Anyways, that was a good album. October 24th. Another Stryper album going all the way back to 1984 with the classic of To Hell with the Devil. For those younger listeners who have not heard this album, go back, check it out. This is a classic staple, must have for any Stryper fan. Although if you're a Stryper fan, I'm pretty sure you've probably got this in your collection. And then October 30th was the release of Truth, another Michael Sweet solo record. From what I can gather, both versions came out in the same day. The demo was released in 1998. The official label release came out in 2000. I just did a bonus episode about this, I believe, last month, talking about this. Again, when this came out, I don't even know if I knew it had come out. This was all kind of, at that time, it was kind of hard to know when stuff was coming out. The internet was there. I don't know if it was hard. It's easy or hard to find information. Anyways, I did grab a couple tracks off this one as a digital download. I did not enjoy the entire album. And if you want to check out more about my whole review on that, go back to, I believe it's the November bonus on that one. October 31st, Halloween, we have a birthday. Rob Fraser, who is described as a singer-songwriter, but he came in and joined Petra in 1978 for the Washes Whiter Than album. He did keyboards and guitars, probably helped Bob Hartman with some of the guitars. And he also did some vocals. So I think him and John Volts traded off that time. I've heard some tracks off of Washes Whiter Than. have not heard the whole album. I'm not really sure how this one goes or sounds. I got Petra later in the 80s, basically well into John Schlitt's version of the band. Did go back and catch some of the greatest hits from Greg Volt's era and did enjoy that. So anyways, yeah, Rob Fraser, October 31st, born 1953. And our last album anniversary is on October 31st with Striper Live extended versions. This came out in 2006 and was recorded about the same time as the 7 Weeks Live, which was released in 2003 on a different date. So that's it for album anniversaries. Speaking of Petra, though, and we didn't quite get into news with our last episode, and I don't think we're going to be able to catch up on news and happenings. So I just wanted to say that the Petra is coming out with a new album soon. They have released the first single, Deliverance, I believe it's called. Chris and I have both heard the song, like it. Not bad for a first single. It's getting a lot of attention, a lot of people liking it, and we're hoping that the new record has some good heavy rockers on it as well. So that's it. This is Arin Rockman H signing off for the Rock and Metal Faith podcast. God bless everybody and keep listening.